Hey everyone, Aaron here, and this is another surprise attack review. Today we're looking at Infinite Stratos 2. Now, you know what's funny? And this happens to me. I'm not perfect when it comes to reviewing stuff once in a while, and I watched season 1 and season 2 of Infinite Stratos relatively really close to one another. I finished the first one several weeks ago, and then I finished the second one not even like a week after that. And I actually had forgotten that I was going to upload the second season review to you guys, but I never got around to doing it. So I unfortunately, I mean, I gave you guys plenty of ample time, but in my mind, I actually forgot completely that I reviewed this or didn't review it. So yeah, it's been several weeks since I reviewed the first part. But anyways, I guess that's better for you guys if you haven't seen the series and you've watched it now. You get to see the second one and hear my thoughts on it. So Infinite Stratos 2 is essentially the continuation of the first season by every definition. The same concepts is that we have Ichika, who is once again back at the all school girls academy, because he's the only male pilot able to pilot Stratos, and the regular cast of girls are with him. You got all the girls that come back, and you know what's funny is that essentially season 2 is essentially season 1 but weaker in many respects. It deals again with the same concepts of this kind of shadowy organization that's the ones that kidnapped Ichiko when when he was younger, and they're going after him now when he's older. And again, they have the Infinite Stratos that are being piloted by people that don't know. They're like not piloted by anyone. You also learn that apparently some pilots are able to kind of go through this kind of second phase shift and all this stuff. It's a lot more information just layered on top of another season of Infinite Stratos, and I'll tell you right now, it's not that good. The biggest issue with Infinite Stratos 2 is that in terms of hilarity, because I mean this is a comedy harem, it does a lot of things funnier than the first season. I will give it that. It's a lot better in terms of the laughs. I laughed a lot more with the second season than I did the first one. The problem with it is in terms of story, the story is a lot weaker in this one, and the ending is essentially a cliffhanger that's probably not going to get resolved anytime soon, because right now there hasn't been any terms to do a third season, of the show. So we're left with this kind of ho hum story that could have been fleshed out, but it wasn't fleshed out. You're never going to find out anything in terms of who certain characters are, and really the most notorious and big change of this season is that we get two new girls to add to his harem. Essentially, we have a little bit more in terms of storytelling of his backstory of who's involved with it. We get this new mysterious girl that looks a lot like Ichika's sister, who apparently is just called M, and she actually looks like a clone of her, but she's shorter essentially. But that's all we get. We really don't get anything that's different from the first season. I guess maybe the comedy aspects are better, but that's it. And that's a kind of big issue with it. So trust me, this is gonna be a short review. I'm being honest with you. It's gonna be a very short review. Not because it's per se I want to do a short review, but more so because there's not much to talk about here. This is essentially another series that had the ability to go from another point and just went, you know what? Let's just keep adding on to what we have. That works when stuff that's very popular, like any show that does this with where it's very popular, like One Piece, for example. Going off of what you have built already is like building off a strong foundation. You have the show that people already like, and thus when you get the second season or the third season or fourth, the continuation of it, you're just building off of that strong foundation. You have your audience found already. You have the strong dimensions of everything built, and you're just adding to it to make a superior house. In animes like this, where you have a weaker foundation, because Infinite Stratos 1 wasn't that great to begin with. I mean, I reviewed it pretty high for what it was, but it's not that great on a whole. You have the second season, which just adds to it, like, various elements to it, but it doesn't have the foundation to kind of keep its balance. So Infinite Stratos 2 comes very close to being a lot weaker in a lot of ways, but I'm not going to say it's weaker in the point that I'm going to destroy the score for it. It's just not going to get a very high score. It's going to be, if I'd argue this A through F, a C. The reason being, again, the comedy aspects are great. I really love the comedy aspects. I think they did a lot better of a job when it came to kind of Ichigo's relationship with these girls and some of the funny moments that happen here and there. I mean, it's cuter, but I think every element beyond that, the story is once again ho hum. The characters are thrown into a kind of situation which is just atypical for harems, and action harems especially. The kind of conclusions that we get are nothing that are actually gonna appease us, because we have essentially an ending that doesn't give us anything. It just has a cliffhanger. It's a big issue with the show, and last season when it ended the cliffhanger wasn't that big of a cliffhanger. It was something that you could have stopped the series on. People would have been pissed off about it, but they wouldn't be so outrageously pissed off because at least it ended for a first season. This is just ending where, oh, here's the shadowy organization, but we're not going to go fight them because we don't know who they are per se. We have their name, but we don't know where they are in the world. And, I hate anime that does this. I want to give it a lower score, but I think C is perfect for it because I think, honestly, for what it is, it's not trying to be anything spectacular. And I'm being honest with you, some of the comedy moments of this, I keep saying that, but it's so true, are going to make you laugh. They're really funny. They're really well done. Animation's about the same. And by the way, I already know I saw my score already, but, I forgot to add this part. The animation is about the same as the first season, albeit it's a little weaker depending on what platform you watch. Because if you actually buy this, you can't buy this on Blu-ray. They only have DVD for season 2, which is very strange to me. The first season came out Blu-ray, and then the second season came out only DVD, which means that you're going to get a really big downgrade in quality. But there are other ways of looking at it on various websites, I'm not going to say which ones, that you can res the thing up to like 780 or 1080p and make it look like it's Blu-ray quality, albeit it's not exactly that. So that is one of my biggest issues right there. Dubbing-wise, everything else was still perfectly the same. It's just, you know what? I actually am going to do this. I haven't done this before, but I'm going to do it now. If I review this again, A through F, C minus. I'm being honest with you. I think it was nice with that C, and I should have maybe went into thinking about it a little longer, but C minus. It is not that great of a show, but it does have some hilarity to it. It's more of the same if you like the first season, so you're going into this with expectation that this is just going to be another season of this. That's fine. You're going to not have any issue with this, but otherwise, I'd say stay away from it. It's not a big deal. If you didn't watch the first season, you don't want to watch this one, no big deal. I say stay away from it. It's just one of your atypical harems that could have been done a lot better. But unfortunately, I would like to say for people to watch it because I think it is funny. I really do. And, it does have some decent action here and there, but overall, it's not that great. It really isn't. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review as mediocre as it was, I think, at times, because I swear that I won't do that very often, guys. I really won't. I won't change my grade midway through my review unless I really think and kind of delve into it and go, you know what? Let me be more honest about it. Because I was saying C before, and I mean, C minus is not really that much of a change from a C. But I just say that I was being a little too nice, I think, initially by saying the comedy was enough to save the show, and really it's not. It's missing a lot of other stuff, but it's not enough to give it a D. It's just C minus. It's very close to a D plus, but it's a C minus. Is passing for the most part. Anyways, guys, as usual, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And as always, until our paths cross again in the next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.